Welcome back, everybody. This is Ways back with the next part of our IONIC workshop series, in which we're creating this expense logger application. In the last video, we finished off some of the pages for login, registration, and forgot password. So if I click on this forgot password, it takes me to the forgot password page. Click on register, takes to the register page. Go back to the login. Now this is our authentication module that we worked on in the last video. But if I go to tabs, it'll take me to this this page. So basically, we've been building this expense tracker application where you can log expenses on a daily basis, and there are other features like you can set the type of an expenses, you can filter that. Also, you can select a date to go and look at the previous data. Currently, we're using this local storage for that, but we're gonna have to move to creating basically an API for this, so this data can be stored on a server. And then we also design a login and registration system for this application. So let me take you to the playlist. So this is a playlist that I've created for you guys. So there's about 13 videos. If you want to follow along, I would highly recommend start from the first video, and then throughout this series I'm creating this application from scratch. So this is like a really good for people who wants to know how to actually use IONIC with capacitor and how actually build an application from scratch. So what is an agenda for this video? First of all, let's go up there. I wanted to show you this is a GitHub repository. It's an open source project. You can clone this and then you can take a look at where we're at. Now we're working on this auth system. So if I go to commits and I'm gonna go to the auth system, and then here it says video 13 ends here. So the way I've organized this repository is by saying that any video ends, then we'll have a commit, and then we push the code to the server. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. First of all, we are going to write some technical code here. For example, creating some service for storage, or we're going to start by creating some auth guards. So here we got this auth and tabs. Now I'm gonna go to this service, and I'm gonna create actually we're gonna right click, and I'm gonna create a new directory here. So I'm gonna name it guards. Okay, now within this I'm going to create an auth guard first. So let's go and click on this Angular semantics, and then here we select guard. Now you can use the terminal to do this, but if you're using Python, which is a great IDE for overall JavaScript, so you can basically use that. Okay, so I'm going to name my guard would be auth guard, or maybe let's just say login. Auth guard is fine. Let's click OK, and you'll see we should get a guard. Now before I can create that guard, it's going to ask you a couple of questions. For example, can activate, I want that. Can load, and then can activate child. I want all three of them. So now, because I use this Angular semantic using Python, it actually asked me questions, and there you go, we got this auth guard. Also, what we'd like to do is actually create a directory, and I'm going to name auth, and then move this to auth. This way we can just organize our guards into the folders. Now let's go to terminal, and we are going to first of all see if we have those guards there. Yep, that's fine. And there's some change I've done in the routing module, so let's take a look at that here. So all right, this is just an indentation, so not a big deal, so that's fine. We're not worried about this for now. So I'm going to do IONIC build, so make sure that my project builds, and then we are going to implement this auth guard to our route for the tabs. So go to app routing module, and here I would like to say can activate. Okay, and then I'm going to use this auth guard, so that would be auth guard. Okay, and that will be imported from this bit. Let's save the file now, because the art guard is returning a true for this, so it's basically gonna let us to do that. Let's to navigate to tabs. Now we go back to routing, and I'm going to go to terminal, and I'm gonna do IONIC build. Once the build is done, then we can start serving this as well. So I think on the next tab it's doing that. So I've got to actually stop the server and then restart the server. The reason for that, because I created some files which were not recognized by Webpack. So sometimes you create files, it's better to restart your server. So now I'm going to do IONIC serve, and it's going to start the server. Okay, one thing in PyCharm, I would like to make the mode to dock pin. So if I press escape, it will just hide itself. So let's go to the app. And here I'm going to first of all go to the main, and it should take me to the login page. Okay, now let's do a bit of modification in terms of our form. I would like to use forms from Angular Form Builder. So let's go to the page here. I'm gonna open Angular, and I'm going to open IONIC documentation as well. So here I would like to go to docs and go to fundamentals and go to forms and reactive forms. Now in this page, I'm going to look at some of the example that we could probably just copy paste. So adding a basic form. First of all, we need to add this reactive form module to our code. So let's go to page, and I'm going to go to, not this one. Let's go back to the PyCharm, and I'm going to go to app module. And then here we got this reactive form module implemented, right? Let's go back to the documentation, and we got this reactive form done. And then we got the component, and then we can create as like a new form control. And this is an example for that. So let's try to convert our login form. I'm gonna close these files. Let's go to login page, and here we only got this navigate to register, navigate to forgot password. I'm gonna do login page HTML. We got this ion input. Ion input is just like a plain thing. We don't have that as a reactive form, so we're gonna convert that to reactive form now. So first of all, let's go and create a new form control. Okay, so let's go to the Angular documentation, and here I would like to use form group instead of just the form control. So let's go and copy this bit. Let's go to PyCharm, and right here, I'm going to import this form group and form control here. In the class file of login page, I'm going to create a private login form variable, and this is going to be a type of form group. Okay, and we'll create a new form group, and that can take, you know, some form controls. So here I'm gonna say, first of all, email. Okay, we said new form control, and we can just leave that value as empty for now. Then it's gonna be a password. New form control, not form group actually, form control, and then the value, let's just leave that empty. Okay, now how do we use this form into our HTML now? So let's go back to the login page, and here, first of all, I'm going to actually create a form group here. So if I go to the documentation, so I can show you how do we do it. So here's an example. So you just got to use the form tag, and then you use this form group and then give a name for that. So here we create this form profile form. So let's apply the same thing there. So here I would like to create something like a let me actually probably create a form here. Okay, and now we say form group, and the name is going to be login form. So that has to take from the TS file. So we just use a curly braces and with a form group, and that would be a login form. And we can see in the suggestion as well. Okay, and then let's move this bit down to something like here probably. That's fine. That should be fine. Now there's an error here. Let me just hover. It says property form group is not provided by any applicable directory. Okay, that's fine. You know, the problem is we don't have a form group implemented in our login module. Okay, so let's go and fix that. I'm going to go to login module and I'm going to import reactive form module. Save that. Let's go back to the login page and you'll see there's no error anymore. Okay, we actually added this login reactive form module in login module. Well, if we use this, we will have to basically import an edit module, which is not a really good way to actually import all this. So what we can do here is we can actually create a module which will export this bit. So let's go to app. I'm gonna create a directory and I'm gonna name it core. And then here I'm going to create a module. So let's create a module here and I'm going to say forms. All right, let's have a look. Here we got a form module. I'm actually gonna move this to the core. I don't need to put that into folder. They're just going to be shared. Actually, I'm gonna create a directory here. I'm gonna say modules, and then I will put that form modules into that. Let's get rid of the forms. And now here I'm going to import reactive form module. And also I would like to go and export this as well. So we'll do reactive form module. All right, so next time if we need a common modules that has to be imported, we'll just import this form module and all of the form related dependency will be available for that particular module. So it's just, you know, makes it easy to maintain how you import stuff. So I don't need this. Actually, yes, I need the common module as well. Okay, let's ident it properly. And now I'm gonna go to a login module. Instead of importing this, I'm going to import I will just do form module. Okay, and that will come from, actually let's take a look. What is this? What is this? That's a forms module. Okay, that's not a good idea. So what I'm gonna do is let's go back to the modules. Let's get rid of this file. Okay, because it's gonna conflict with actual form module coming from Angular core. That's not a good idea to do it. So what we need to do is right click, create a module. We're gonna rename this to something else. So there's a module and I'm gonna name this as app form. Okay, or yeah, let's just do that. Now we got that apps forms, move it back to the module. Let's get rid of this folder. All right, so now here inside this, I'm going to first of all import reactive form module, add a comma there, and then in exports, and then also use form module, and then export that as well. Forms module. Okay, Now go back to the login module, and instead of this, we're gonna just import this app form module, which will have all the dependencies required for Ionic to create reactive forms with Angular. So now if let me just close this file and close this bit as well. Now if I go to the login page and see that there's no error, now we got the form there. I'm going to use ng submit, and I will create a function named toLogin, and that will have event for now. Okay, let's go to our TypeScript file, and here I'm going to create a function, say do login. I would just say type is wide for now, and it just do log and says login form submitted. Okay, now let's close this file as well. You can see that it's basically saying, hey, this do login doesn't require a event. So I'm going to take you guys back to the documentation. Here we want to see how do we actually pass the data in. Now, we don't really need to have an event passed in. We just call the function, and within the function, we can access the values of the form group by just accessing it. So let's go back to the code. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And now we're going to go to login page, and I'm going to actually go here and say this dot, actually log it first. Console.log this dot login form dot value. Okay. And now if I go to the application, I would like to do some, thing and click on the login. Let's go to console. Not doing anything. Let's probably refresh. If I type something here, doesn't do anything. Let's go and fix that. So we got this form group implemented, but we haven't actually specified this form control name. So let's go back to the documentation and have a look how we define a form control name. So we do that this way. So let's go to the page, go to login page, and here with ion input, I'm going to use form control name, and that would be actually, let's get rid of this first. We do form control name, and that would be let's just say login form dot the not this one, and just access email. It's causing it just says unresolved type variable. And then for password, you can do form control name to password. And then on submit, that's what it's gonna do. Okay. And here we got this ion button called login. Let's go up and see how do we, click on that particular button. So here's the button, type submit, and then disable, and yep, that's correct. So what we can do is we can move this bit inside the form, and I'm gonna set that type to submit, and we're gonna say disabled not login form dot valid. Okay, that should be good to go. So we go to the application. Let's refresh this bit. And we got this E here. Let me just find out where this E coming from. Here we actually got that there. Let's go back to the app, and here I'm gonna type this, click on login, and there we go. We say login form data, and this is the data that we're getting. If I type something else, next time the data will come like this. Okay, so as you can see, that we got our reactive form working. We can access the current data of the form very, very easily. Now here, a few things I would like to modify. I want to go back to this login page and I want to have some validation. So first of all, here we can have some validators. So let me just take you to the documentation. And here it will tell you how do we validate the input form. So we're going to import this validators from Angular forms, and then we're going to add some validators. We can have our custom validators as well. So here, let's just go to let's add validators, comma, we do validators from Angular form, and I will say it is required. And then we can say validators dot required as well. Now if I go to the application, you can see the login button is disabled. If I type something in both, that becomes valid, and that's, it comes back to live. I want to make sure that we got this email properly typed in. Okay, so now I would like to add multiple validators. I want to make sure that this is actually a valid email address. So for that, what we can do is let's convert this into an array. As you can see, the PyCharm is really good. It's saying what I'm trying to do here. It says validator options or options. So I'm going to do a comma here, and I'm going to do a validators.email. Now you might be wondering where I'm getting this from. So I'm going to take you to the documentation, and here is the documentation for form control. We can zoom in a bit as well. So here you can see, I'm going to point out with fh. So we got this validator functions. Okay, and the function that is determine and the synchronous validity of a control. We also got this async validator, so the function that determines the async validity of the control. So we're going to be using this validator, which is not async. So for that, what kind of validators that we can provide? So there's a class provided in Angular, which is like a validator class, and it has some default validators like min, max, required, true, or email, which is really good. You don't have to do any kind of validation that it's a valid email. Minimum length and pattern, you can even do a regex here, and that will match against that. This is really good. A compose. And here you can see we got this validators functions array that we can pass in, or just a validator. Now, also, I would like to show you guys later in the series how you can create your custom validator functions, which is really good. So now you can see that I've got this validator here. Now also I would like to do another validation check on a password. I want to convert that into array, and then we're going to just do a validators dot main, and I want to say I want to have 8 digit at least for main. So let's just do 8. Okay, now if I take you to the app, let's type some gibberish here. Let's go to here. Okay, the login button, it's still not valid. So what we can do here is, if I just say awais here, proper name, here I'm gonna say hello, which is like a 5 words, 1 2 3 4 5. That's more than 8. That's good, but still it didn't came live. If I just keep typing, it doesn't work. I'm gonna type at here. Once I type at, and if I type something hello.com, and that becomes a valid email now, and that's how the login button came back to in active state. I can click on it. So you can see that how we validated our forms using Angular form group, form control, form module overall. So this is really good. Now we got this form group done, then we're getting the values from there. Now we leave that here for now. I'm going to do a to-do here. Okay, that's one of the to-do that I'm gonna write here. Now similarly, we're gonna have to go and validate our forgot password and the register page as well. So I'm going to go in the forgot first. I'm going to go to forgot password. And now I'm going to change this to a form. So let's just do it quickly. And we need a form group first of all. Let's just not do it here. So we're going to open this form. And now I'm going to create a private. And that will be basically new form control. And then here we just leave that empty. And we can say it has to be a valid email. So dot email. Okay, that becomes our form group. And now we're going to use this to form control. So we can come here. We're going to use a form, and I'm going to say form group. Let me just say, what did I use here in the login page? That's like a form group, not the name. We do form group. That would be, we're going to have to import this, reactive form. So let's just go to, I'm going to close these two pages. I'm going to use this form module. Okay, forgot password on a routing module and this module. Okay, so here I'm going to use something like a app form module, so I don't have to import a form group, form module, or anything else that I require. So I'll be adding that to the app form module, which makes it available to wherever we import app form module. Now no error, so let's uncomment this bit and we say form group, and the form would be forgot password form. So we're gonna have to use this Angular thing, and it will give me suggestion form password. Wait, forgot password form. We can say on submit. Let's just say submit form. That's not available, so that's fine. We're just gonna move this to here. Let's do indentation properly, and then in the input field, we are going to use a form control name, which will be something like email, I guess. Let's just confirm that's email that we typed in. Yep, that's email. Close this file. So that's good. And then we're just gonna move our button, and we're gonna set the type to submit. And then we can say disabled not forgot password form dot valid. Okay. And then we're gonna go and create this. I want to just figure out what name I should give to this function. They submit form. I don't like it, so I can probably change this to submit. Actually, I don't know. So do forgot password submit. Nah, don't like it. So I'll just do a submit for now. Okay. Let's do a submit. This is crazy. I'm taking too much of time of, just not doing anything about just trying to decide. So we can say, type return is this. Let's do something like a console.log and say, submitting reset password request. And then we can also do a log here saying this dot forgot platform dot value. Okay, that looks good. So here's a typo, so I'm just gonna change this to S, and we're gonna do that same thing here, and that'll take that as well as. Okay, looking good. Now we're gonna go and finish off our sign up, which is gonna be it's gonna take a bit of time. So we're gonna do, first of all, import app form module, and then close this file. There's another error here. I'm just gonna fix this, and let's close this file, and we already imported that. Let's go to the, and then we're gonna do private. I'll say register form. Type would be form group. We can say new form group, and then add some values. So now I'm gonna go to register component HTML file. I'm gonna open that side by side, and let's close it from here. And now we can see what we have here. So we have a name, email, password, and confirm password. So let's create those. So we'll just say name, new form control, leave it empty for now. And then we got email, new form control, leave it empty. And then we got password, leave it empty there as well. And then confirm password, which would be another form control, and leave it empty. Now let's just finish up the validators, guys. And we're going to do a function here, says do register, and it's going to say console.log registering user. Okay, so I've done the form here. Let's open up, let's go to here. So we're gonna do a form tag. I can say form group, and that would be register form. And then on submit, it's going to call do register. And let's move the form down. Here, let's do our indentation properly. And then I'm actually going to move it like side by side. Okay, now first of all, let's finish off our form control name. That would be a name, and that's going to take form control name, email, and password. Form control name to confirm password, and then for our button here, I'm gonna do type would be submit, and then it's going to use a disable, and I say not valid register form dot valid. Okay, so now if I go and test this, we'll go to register, and it's actually doing what it's supposed to do, but we should actually go back and see why it's not working. So it says not register form dot valid. Okay, that's a register form. That's good. The register is there. We got the form control name, and it's inside the form. That's good. Everything looks all right, but for some reason we had some this register button valid. So now the reason for that is we don't have any validators here for the form control. So here I'm gonna use array type validators, and that would be just, you can say mean 8. Yeah, it's like a name. We shouldn't have anything, but just not worry about it for now. Okay, let's finish off this valid. That will take validators.email, and this would be validators dot password, which is like required also we have a minimum value that we need at least 8. And same validator, I'm just gonna copy paste instead of typing it again. And then let's go to the next one, close this file. And I'm gonna do dot validators dot required. Now dot validators dot required. All of them are pretty much required, so we can add this validators dot required. And this one will take as dot required. I'm gonna try finding out if there's any validator I could find for the string there. So here we got this null validators, okay, and we got this pattern email required true. So let's take a look at what is null validator. So validator that performs no operation. Okay, why even it's there? Anyways, I don't know. So here we can have like a compose function, compose multiple values into a single function that returns the union of a individual arrays mapped for priority. So this is like really advanced topic. I will talk with that, but I just want to part. This is really good. Now, for now, that's fine. Now let's go to the application, and now we got this button disabled. So I'm going to type something here, type something here, type something here. Okay, and then if I just change this to @ that becomes valid. Now, one more thing we need to do is we need to make sure that these two passwords match. If they're not identical, then we need to throw an error. Okay, so let's do that next. First of all, let's go to the terminal. I'm going to go to just the Sankey terminal, and I'm going to see what I've changed. So I'm going to do something like this. There's a lot of things I've changed, so I'm just going to commit this, actually, not comment. So we'll do Alt. Oh, did I make any mistake here? Save it. All right, so we're gonna do S, and here we got this VCS pop-up, which I need to change the shortcut key, and I will type here edit reactive forms for auth module. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that I optimize imports and reformat code as well. Let's commit and push. It's asking my name. Just you can set that to globally, and let's just do a push. It's gonna ask for credentials for me, for my GitHub. Let's see if that works. Okay, let's go to the GitHub repository, and here I'm going to refresh the page. And there you go. I did that 20 seconds ago, this commit. That's fine. We got a snapshot of the code, so I don't lose it anymore. Now, another thing you probably noticed that I am using a distribution called PopOS. So if you go to settings, you can see this is the PopOS distribution. Now, the reason why I'm using this distribution for Linux is my favorite one. Just before I finish up this video, guys, I would like to show you guys PopOS. This has been my favorite Linux distribution. It's basically built for development, and it gives you a lot of shortcut keys, a lot of flexibility into development. I can move through the system without touching the mouse at all. I've got a Chrome with some extension where I can, switch between tabs. I can copy paste text. I can go to next window, and let's just say that I've got this here, right? So this application, this window for Chrome is running here. Let's just say I want to move this to the 1, 2, 3, 5th window. So what I can do is I can just move this thing to, there you go. Now it's there. Okay, it won't go to the last one because there's nothing after that. So that's why it's 4th. So I can go to the first one, and then I can just, close this. go here and just move this up, and then we have this there. Okay. Oh no, I don't want that to go there, so I'll just put it to the third one. So you can see I can snap things around. I can move around my code editor. This PyCharm gives me a lot of shortcut keys, but I can fully use this without touching the mouse, and it's really a great experience. Okay, so one last thing that we will need to fix before we end this video. So here you see in the last video we used this navigate by URL from a router. Now in this auth module we don't have a really crazy amount of navigations. There are like few things like moving from login to registration, registration to login, and login to forget password. So there's not much navigation happening, and we shouldn't be importing this router. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just get rid of these functions. So let's just get rid of this bit. Okay. And also this ng on init is just not required here for now. So this gets implemented by default. We're just going to get rid of it. It's not required at all. Now let's go and fix this in a registration component HTML file. And now here we had an on click events. I'm just going to use this router link, and that will take an array, single quotes, and then here we say .auth/login. Let's save this bit, and then we just fix that into other components as well. So let's go to login page, and here we got this navigation happening. So I'm gonna get rid of this. That was forgot password. So here we use a router link, and add single quotes, so let's say .auth/, and now it's going to forget password. I want to make sure that I use the proper route. So I'm going to go to login page, and here I'm just going to copy this text and then paste that here. Okay, same thing I'm gonna do with this bit. So we'll do router link, and that would be auth/register, I believe. So yep, that's fine. Now let's go to the login page, and we're gonna get rid of a few things from here. So I'm gonna get rid of this bit, not required. And then also on this, we don't need that. Like implement on init. Also from the import, when we do optimize import from PyCharm, it automatically will get rid of that. So next thing we need to fix our forgot password, I think. We go to forgot password. And let's get rid of this. And also we're gonna get rid of this as well. Okay, and then yep, router not required. Oh, not this one, but these two. Let's go to optimize. Yep. Okay, so let's go to forgot password HTML, and here we got this bit. So I'm going to get rid of this and use router link, and then we're gonna do auth/login, and this is going to take okay. Now let's just verify that our server is running and it's compiled successfully. Let's go to an application. I'm going to refresh just to make sure. Then I'm going to click on login. It goes to login, click on forgot password, it goes to forgot password, click on login, register, login, register. So as you can see, things are working, and they're much neater because you need a router when you have like a really navigation happening depending on the logic. But in this case, we don't have any logic going on, so we don't really need to worry about implementing a router and then using router to navigate to the pages. There's something here which I'm going to just leave that for now, the comments there. We might want to fix that later. But in login page, we got the router still. Let's go down in the constructor function. Let's get rid of router. Let's do a bit of indentation here. And then same thing will go for register component. We don't need this router anymore. I'm going to get rid of that. And then in the constructor, we just get rid of that as well. All right, things looking good. The software app has been compiled. Let's go verify again. You can log in, register, log in, you get password, so things are working. Here we have this submit button not validated properly. Let's just make sure that we do forget password component, and we got this form and it says email, and we also want to do something like required. Okay, so let's just do validators dot required comma. Okay, now when I go this time to the app, it will be like disabled. We need a proper email there. If I tap this bit, that makes it proper email, then I can do that. Okay, so we fix all the form validation. We converted all the form into reactive forms, and yeah, things looking good. Let's do the last thing. We're gonna go and open a new terminal. I'm gonna do git status. I'm gonna add everything, git commit there, and let's say video 14 ends here. And I can do a pipe symbol and say all form are changed to reactive forms, and also validation is done as well. Okay, let's do what's going on here. So git commit video end here, that's fine. I think it's has some untracked file. Now it's all good. Let's do git push. It's gonna ask me for the password. And authentication failed. That's bad. So I'm going to use this VCS from PyCharm. So I'm going to do push. Do push there. And let's verify the commit that we got 21 minutes ago and refresh this, and we got this 33 seconds ago. Yep, have a look at the repository, guys. Have a look at the code. Let me know what you think. You can follow me on the GitHub as well, and I would really appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter, and also please subscribe, and also share your thoughts in the comments if you like this video. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. We're going to continue working on this application. We're going to start working on the backend and also implement the backend to the front end. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one.